Two people?
Larry said he was going to be.
Larry there? Let's see, oh, William Short, Bill Short, and Mark Ott.
You got 3 online?
Larry said he was joining online.
Yeah, he's not there. Okay, that's true. So, first thing we do, I know there's a lot of new people in here, and can we just go around and introduce yourself and tell us how you learned about the club and...
Are you on the meeting?
Yeah, no?
Oh, all right.
Hi, I'm Jim May. I live in Patton Township. Lived in this area since 2009. I'm not exactly sure how I heard about you guys. It may have been from coming here and doing some other working in the shop. I think I may have just come across your webpage. It's good to be here. Thank you.
What about, what kind of woodworking you do?
I make small stuff. I used to do some woodworking when I was younger. And lately, I just got a little small shop in my basement, mostly hand tools. So I come here to break down my bigger pieces, do small tables, boxes, just kind of getting back into it now and learning the skills. So,
Cool, well,
and I actually just bought a lathe, so I'm in.
who else do we got? Ready to stand up? Hey, you've been here forever.
Yeah, I'm not new.
I'm going back. I'm going to her.
Hi, I'm Karen Salvage. My good friend Jim Garth told me about the street.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Come check it out.
Are you a woodworker at all? Have you done?
I've done a little bit of woodworking, no wood turning.
Okay, well, it's addictive, as you can see. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Who else we got here? Oh, yeah, Pat.
This is my,
I go with Jim. I can speak for myself.
Yeah.
I'm not woodworking, but I appreciate all this beautiful stuff you guys and gals do. It's amazing.
Cool, very good. We got new, go ahead.
I'm Denny Nebgen, I'm part of the Indiana County Woodturners, but I was invited by Dick Garland here, Richard Garland, and just thought I'd come and check you guys out and see.
Okay, well, welcome. Make sure you get something to eat. That's the best
Well,
part.
we worked together 20-some years ago.
Yeah.
I just found him last month on Facebook.
Oh,
And
yeah?
he's been a wood turner for 5 years, I guess, and does some pretty good stuff.
How many people in your club?
Oh, I'm 20, 30 some, I don't know.
Okay. So what's our latest numbers? Where are we at?
we're at 41.
Yeah, we're about 40 something, so. We can have it up to 50, right?
Well, there's probably more once they figure out your.
We have a real nice setup there. We've been meeting at the Indiana County University all of the last couple of years haven't been for that. We've been doing Zoom meetings, but they have a real nice setup down there at the university. It's full hall, several one-way lanes and stuff, and
Nice.
it's nice when you want to do a hands-on kind of thing or something.
Yep, well, welcome. All right, Russell, right now.
I'm Russell. I took a class the last couple of weeks with these guys, and they showed me how to turn, and I've always wanted to turn. Been a carpenter most of my life. And ever since this place opened up, I've been learning how to do damn near everything. So, yeah, why not learn wood turning too? Always wanted to.
Very good. Who else? Anybody, any other new people? Anybody?
Yep.
Well, welcome everybody, just so you know.
Yeah.
You're welcome to come to the first couple of meetings, not a problem. If you decide to join the club, it's only $25 a year. If you wait till the end of the year, you get some kind of discount. So, but anyway, welcome. Let's see. Oh, we gotta have a motion. The meeting minutes from last month. Anybody read them?
Move to approve.
I read them all the time. He spells my name wrong. He spells it once the first time and it's right, and the second time, he spells it wrong.
Never let me forget it.
Never. You have a motion?
Yeah.
Approve. A second?
Second.
All right. All in favor? Aye. Approved, done. Let's do treasurer's report. Is Larry on? Hey, Larry, no, Mark? Okay. Well, he did send me some numbers. He's been working, I can give you a little brief. We've been trying to get QuickBooks and do our accounting on the QuickBooks. And there's been a lot of input from people on executive, thank you everybody who's helped out. And it looks like he's pretty happy with it, and it looks like we're gonna go to that first. And the December meeting, somehow there was a mess up, and I have to admit, I lost the checks. I don't know where the checks are, I have no clue, so if you wrote a check, I'm sorry.
In December.
Yep, so if you wanna fire me as president, speak up now. Oh, and we have a new president, welcome! So anyway, I don't know where they are. I've been discussing it with Larry, and so I will make right whatever needs to be done, so. But anyway, that was part of the treasury report. He did send me some numbers. And if I can read it right, which I'm sure I can, we have money in the bank. And it's a nice amount.
It's like 48 bucks.
Yes,
Can I ask a question, Ken?
no.
Not if it's about
He's
the
still
money.
president.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know what exactly happened, but I don't know why you should have to make anything up. We just put out a list of the people that we know have paid, and if other people say they think they have, that's probably the easiest way to reconcile that.
Okay, well, it's, Larry and I have been talking about it, and we've been trying to get it right. And he sent out an email. If you got an email that said you have paid your dues, then it's not a problem for you. If you got one that says you have not paid your dues and you know you paid your dues, contact Larry or me, and we'll get your name there, and we'll get some stuff, so thank you for that, appreciate that. So anyway, that's, it's all good, we're working on that, I apologize. It was hard to do we had the celebration, and then I was doing a demo plus the meeting, so I don't know what happened. So, all right, let's see. One of the main things, and let's see, old business, I wanted to thank Don Wilson for doing our turning demo last time on the spheres. It must have been well received. There's a lot of spheres up there. I'm really happy. Thank you, everybody who brought some in. What do you think about the spheres in general? Easy, tough?
Kind of tough.
Kind of tough. My first one was about this big, and then it ended up being about that big. I just kept taking it down.
That big and it ended up being that.
I know, that seems to be the general consensus, to start pretty large, and then the second one I did, I got a little bit smarter and I started measuring and being a little more accurate, it came out a lot better, so we'll go through that when we do the things. Let's see, and also there was Travis and Mike and Jan. There was a little glitch right in the beginning, thank you very much for working through that and getting Dawn's demo going in good shape. Okay, classes. You want to give a recap of classes?
Well, in January, we ran our
You wanna go
first
left?
three-legged stool class, where students made something similar to this, three, and walked away with their stools. We had 5 students for that class. That class is a 2-week class, and then on the last week of the month, we had a pen class, another 5 students. We've had a lot of popular requests for bowl turning, so we're going to be offering a bowl turning class in April. That'll be April 12th and 19th. This will be a 2-week class, much similar to the stool class.
PowerPoint.
Beyond that, we've got 2 pen classes in February. We've got a stool class in March and a bowl class in April.
Okay, I did a, yeah, it has been busy. You wanna talk a little bit about the stool class? What did you think about it and instructors and the
I thought it
facilities?
was very instructional. All the people leading the class were very helpful. They kept catching me doing it wrong, straightened me out. And I actually ended up with a pretty decent three-legged stool. I enjoyed the class, and my impression was that the other students enjoyed it also.
There it is. Oop, there.
Page one. Oop. Go up. So there was 5 students and we had 5 trainers. It was led by Paul, who did it. Paul's a really good trainer. I don't know if you've never had any chance to see him, you should come to one of our classes. So session 1, we turned it blanked around and we put pennons on them. And then for homework, they had some design the legs. And then the next week, am I missing something? Like, you can do this if you want. Session 2, then they turned 3 legs and we assembled the stool. We provided the top. They were all made by Jim, right?
Yeah.
Jim Finley. So, and everyone happily completed theirs. It was pretty interesting. I got some pictures here. You can see club member. We know this guy. No, this guy. Yeah, they're all there. So they were. You can see they're working on their legs. Go ahead and next. Here's what the stools look like. Can you guys see over here? No. I'll show you. He said pass some stuff around.
Hey, us online people can't see it.
Yeah, it looks like it. But yep. And you can see there's some more up there. There's a completed ones up in the top right. So that was really successful. In the last slide, oh, was there one more?
Turn the camera so we can see it.
Hold on a second. Well, you should be able to see it
All
on
I'm
screen.
seeing is Paul.
You're sharing your screen.
Just got too many things open at once here.
I share the screen.
Figure out where it is. You gotta be on the Zoom session.
Yeah.
It's open.
Yep.
And then it has to be open. Is it open, the PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Okay, yeah,
Go ahead.
that, and then share.
How about now? Can you see it?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay. Run through it real quick so they can see it. There's some pictures of the students training, they're making some legs. Go ahead and next page. There's some finished products and you can see they're all smiling. That's a good thing. And one more. This is the pen turning course, and we had Jan. She volunteered to be the trainer. She did an excellent job, so we have a star who was born. So we have another trainer. So she did a really good job on your first one. So thank you very much. Okay, so go ahead. Oh, Paul, you want to read that? That was your email that you sent out. I thought it was a nice email. Just congratulations to Jan and all that. So, okay, we can.
And then we've just got the classes up for February. There'll be an acrylic class, a wood pen class. In March, we'll do a 2-week period for a stool class. In April, will be a 2-week period for a bowl. The bowl class will involve about a 2 by 6 inch blank that they'll make into a bowl.
Can you tell me, Paul, is anybody coming in reporting that they've seen the advertisement on the 2 platforms we've been trying to get on?
We usually ask them how they found out, and it's,
Rivet,
yeah, it's usually directly through Rivet, but
Yeah, I've put stuff on the next door thing, but I've never seen anything come back to me saying, so I don't know what I'm doing right or wrong.
okay. We'll continue to ask them, you know, how they found out, but almost all of them say that they just went on to the Rivet site. Now, what directed them to go to the Rivet site, I don't know.
Yeah, well, and everything I put out directs them to the
Yeah, so we may not be asking the right question.
I go through their class listings at least once a week.
Yeah.
Because they post stuff all the time.
Yeah, I actually go through it a lot too, so that's kind of where I get my information, so. Okay, cool. All right, so let's go on to new business. We got a lot to do. We got a lot of wood. I asked for a little, and I don't know what everybody thinks a little is, but. So this is the big meeting. This is for election of officers. And so far,
Another chair.
oh, okay. I thought you were gonna hurt me. I've known Randy since about, what, 78? Randy, how long since I met you? 78?
78.
Yep, scary, isn't it? Okay, and you just started joining the club, what, a year ago or so?
Yeah.
So we haven't seen each other for a while, and it's nice to see them again. So we have 3 officers who said that they're gonna maintain their position. That would be the president, Larry, Lucan's treasurer, and, let's see, Secretary Richard. So is there anybody who is interested in any of those positions at all? To challenge the incumbents? If there isn't, if there isn't, do we have a motion to retain?
Retained by acclamation, yes.
A second? All in favor? Okay, thank you, everybody. We have a resigning vice president, who's Mike Messina. And as a token of our appreciation as woodturners, I made you a little plaque for this. Particular appreciation, Mike Messina. Thank you for your stellar performance, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. You've been all 3, right?
Now I have to make a friend.
Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. At last meeting, I begged and pleaded for a vice president, and Brian Hummel was kind enough to come up to me and talk, so I immediately picked him. So, are there any other nominations I have for vice president? So, do I have any motions?
Move to accept Brian as vice president.
Seconded?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Don't say no. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Okay, now I want to move on. I'm trying to move this fast so we can get enough time for everything. Harry Potter Wand Charity. Would you like to talk about that a little bit, Jim?
Sure. I saw on Instagram a couple posts about this. There was a guy who recreated Diagon Alley, if you're a Harry Potter fan. It's sort of the place where the wizard shop, let's say. And he did it in his driveway for the kids. The video went viral. He became famous. And he's going to build a similar thing at this camp called Camp Corey, which is a camp for kids that have severe medical conditions. And part of that Diagon Alley is the wand shop, where the kids who are becoming wizards buy their wands, and so they would like to get 1,000 wands to fill this shop. And the woodturners on Instagram put out a thing saying, hey, if you're interested, turn some wands. And so I threw that out to the group, and you guys did a fantastic job. I don't know, there's probably 30 wands over there. I appreciate it. I'll box those up and send them to this camp, and they'll be used by kids who are gonna love them to death. So appreciate that a lot.
Thank you, everybody. Dan, how many did you make? 20. So there you go. One of our heroes.
Yeah.
So, okay, you want to go and talk about the shop too while you're at it?
Sure. I sent out an email, hopefully everybody got it, about our new merchandise shop. Essentially, I was able to upload our logo and pick out all these different products that you can buy with our logo on. T-shirts, sweatshirts,
All stand up and.
magnets, water bottles, you name it. And we're a little bit out of control. It's in a place called T Public. And they set the prices and they set what we get. We get a little bit of profit from each one, each sale. They have sales of everything in their shop, including our stuff, which happened last Saturday, I think it was. Anyway, if you're interested in donning the club logo on your body or a water bottle or any other thing, check it out. Club makes a little bit of money and you get to advertise who we are.
Thank you for
You
doing
would
this.
say,
all that.
you would say. Purchase?
Yeah, we, I think 17 total items, I forget, 10 or 12 shirts. And I think that netted the club $26, for an example, so. We're not gonna get rich off of it. but-
So,
It's a good start.
I brought in some T-shirts, they're different quality T-shirts, you can take a look at them if you're interested in any of them. I'll tell you which ones they are, I'll pull them. And I also have a magnet and some stickers, if you know, everybody's into stickers lately. I think that's that generation that's coming through right now. So there's some stickers over there, you can see what those stickers look like too. So take a look, but thank you, Jim, that was, and it's tpublic.com. Then when you get in there, if you type in wood turners with an S, it'll come up to the Nittany wood turners.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a neat site, there's a lot of different things you go, so. How many of you have already purchased? Cool, okay, all right, just curious. All right, let's see. Now we go through the executive committees. Anybody have any reports? Bull Mansion, nothing. Education, you have anything more, Paul? Mentor program, not here. Media. Travis, you're working on.
Yeah, I figured out how to use this thing so we can have multiple cameras in the future.
It's the A10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we're gonna try to do is whenever we have demos, we're gonna try to have two cameras on it. We'll have one that's facing the front and maybe one that's overhead. So just to give everybody a little better view on the screen here, so. Just something we're trying to get a little improvement.
Next month, I'm gonna be demoing making a box again, and I'm gonna do it from my shop. So we'll have two cameras there.
Okay, all right. But the meeting's still gonna be here.
The meeting will be here, but you'll see the demo up there.
Okay, because everything he needs is at his shop and he didn't want to have to bring it all. Okay, Jim, you already did yours. Mike, you just did your report, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, women in turning, how are we doing there?
Good, I had a really productive meeting with a woman Turner from Punxsutawney and Turner from Harrisburg, who are both members of AAW, with the hopes of planning an event here in the fall.
Oh, very good, very good. Keep me up to date. Okay.
Of course.
Is everybody a member of AAW? Is there anybody who's not a member? Okay, well, when we do demos off-site, it's a good idea to be an AAW because of insurance purposes and things like that. So if ever you get into doing demos anywhere else, we need to talk about that, okay? All right, so what else we got? Wood auction. Was our auctioneer here?
Just came in.
Yes, he is. Are you still interested in giving us your auctioneering expertise?
Yeah, but there's not gonna be any screwing around tonight, it's gonna be bam, bam.
I know. We gotta go, we gotta go.
Bam, bam.
Yeah, does that mean you're not gonna have any jokes?
Anybody that
At
buys
your expense,
I'm not gonna tell you, I'm not gonna tell you the flavor of the wood or anything, you just buy it. Get your voting money the hell out and buy it.
I need to know the names of the people that buy it. Okay?
Yep, okay. Say your name and the amount and, you get it all straightened out. I didn't even bring mine in, because there's a lot.
Took a wet bad, huh?
Wait, you're checking it out for yourself, aren't you?
I'm just scanning it, gotta scan it, gotta get a feel for it, you know? Gotta see what you got here. What do we got here?
That's just a demo for the Osage Orange.
Ah,
That's just a little, 10-minute quick, no sanding, just to show you what you can get out of that.
see
crappy
how
looking-
beautiful that is, huh? Huh? And this here is a piece of that you can make one of them out of. Actually, there's quite a few pieces here, isn't there, young man?
All for Ken.
No. For everybody. Go ahead.
Alrighty,
$1.
Yeah.
I got $1, looking for a second $1. Looking for the second $1?
Yeah.
Got a second $1, looking for the third $1. Third $1. Got the third $1, looking for the fourth one.
Now, come on, look.
Fourth one, looking for the fifth one.
This is what you can make out of that little thing there.
Oh yeah, that'd be beautiful.
Just made yesterday.
Where am I at now? I had 4, looking for 5. I got 5, looking for 6. I got 5, looking for 6. Sold, $5.
Who got it?
Just for all of them.
No, sir. What was in my hand? Oh, no way. Well, here's the bargain. You want to open with 5? 2 for price. There's open with 5? Where do I got 5? I got 5, looking for 6. Looking for 6. Going once.
Yeah, okay.
I got 6, looking for 7. Got 7, looking for 8. Looking for 8. Going once, going twice.
That's per piece, right?
2. 2 for the $8. No. Listen up. You gotta listen to the damn auctioneer. No, I'm no longer employed with one of them people. Matter of fact, yesterday I got my first pension deposit. I love it. What do I got here?
Osage Orange.
Oh, there we go. Look how big that piece is. Our last piece went for what, $6? $8 for that last piece. This must be a $25 piece here. Who give me $2?
You.
I got 2, looking for 4. Who give me 4? I got 4, looking for 6. Who give me 6? Who give me 5?
Yeah.
I got 5, looking for 6. I got 6, looking for 7. Got 6 back here, looking for 7. Going.
Yeah.
I got the 7, looking for 8. 7, looking for 8. Sold, $8.
Can I give this one back? $7.
I'm buying off you for a buck. For a buck.
X it up, we way out. $7.
Osage Orange.
Osage Orange, Osage Orange.
Cherry.
Cherry. Let's do another, let's do this 3 for the price of 1. So give me a buck. I got a buck. Give me 2. I got 2, looking for 3. Looking for 3, I got, whoa, Ken, give me $3. Holy crap, holy.
That's $1 a piece.
That's, yeah, it's exactly what it was. Ooh, looking for 4. Who give me, if I got 4, looking for 5. A 4, look, I got 5, looking for 6. 5, looking for 6. Come on, this is a non-profit. I got 6, looking for 7. This is a non-profit organization. Come on.
7.
I got 7, looking for 8. 7, looking for 8. Going once, going twice. Uh-oh, that one's bruised. I knocked that corner off for you. You don't have to worry about that one.
Nice piece of wood.
Somebody, yeah, it would be. Okay,
Barrel.
2 for the price of 1. Now this is really pretty, but this here would be beautiful. You put the right.
Those crotches, that's a crotch piece that I turned there today.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you could have just as nice as that. Give me $1. $2. $2. I got $1 looking for $2. I got, thank God, because I wasn't letting him have it. It wasn't gonna happen. Looking for $3. I got 2 looking for 3. 2 looking for 3. I got 3 over here looking for 4. Who give me 4? Anybody for 4? Going once, going twice. Sold to this man for $7.50.
Osage orange.
More orange. More orange. Where'd this come from?
It came from Oak Hall, that guy that has the farm with those horses. He has a little row of Osage orange. And the bastard charged me $100 for that. All that wood.
This came off of property that was once owned by William Penn. In case you didn't know that. We got 2 pieces here looking for $1. I got $1 looking for 2.
Yeah.
Looking for 2. I got 2 right here looking for 3. Give me 3. I got 3 looking for 4. I got 4 looking for 5. I got 5 looking for 6. Got 6 looking for 7. 6 looking for 7. Going once, going twice. Yeah, ho, you just made her in under the wire. Looking for 8 now. Who give me 8? $8. $4 a piece. Going once, going twice. Sold there, young man.
Thank you.
Okay, what's that? You gotta figure out what it is before you sell it. Wood. Let's see the bark.
God bless him. Jim Finley isn't here. The wood whisperer isn't here.
Chestnut.
Chestnut. Tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to sell this beautiful piece of chestnut with this little piece of cherry that's got some burl in it. Beautiful. Who'll give me $2? I got $2 looking for $4. Got $4 looking for $6.
That ball that I brought in, it's not a chestnut, if anybody wants to see what it looks like.
Looking for $6.
Gorgeous wood.
I got my $6 looking for $8. Who give me 8? Okay, give me 7 then. You give me 7? I got 7 looking for 8. Who give me 8? Going. Sold to the young man back there in the corner.
Wife won't let me come back.
That's part of the fun.
All right, what we got here? Now, this is, I'm not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure it's deadwood. What am I looking at, guys?
It's, arborvitae, that was it.
Sure.
Cedar.
Yeah, I'll buy it.
You know, so, you know,
Yeah, it's relatively light piece of wood.
really light, pretty dry.
2 for 1. I'm gonna sell both of them, same price. You give me $2. You give me $4. Somebody give me $4. I got $4, looking for 6.
Isn't this the same one? No. What's this, Steve? Tuttle?
You give me 6.
Yeah.
That's not the same as our provider.
Well, I think it's you.
Sold to the young lady, $4. Okay, what do we got here? Hickory dickory dock.
Yeah, that's not. I think the other one's a maple and those two are hickory.
Alrighty, 3 for the price of 1. Give me $3 for these. Who give me $3? Who give me? I got $3. Who give me 4? You okay with the $4? Okay, because I'm not getting a licking for nobody. I don't give a damn if he is the president. It ain't happening. I got 4. You're gonna give me 5. Come on. I got 4, looking for 5. Going once, going twice. $10.72 to that man right over there.
How'd you get 1072?
Yeah, I know.
I hope you weren't listening to some of the prices I'm throwing out there.
It's Brian,
You're gonna be fighting with some guys.
Richard got it.
All right, here is some black cherry knot. I can see a beautiful bowl coming out of that right there. Yes, sir, I can. I got $2. Who give me 4? $2. The auctioneer, $2 on this. Don't let him buy it for $2, for God's sake. Who give me 4? I got 4. Who give me 5? $4. I'm telling you, this is yeah. I got 4, looking for 5. Ah, thank you. I got 5, looking for 6. Looking for 6. Going once. Going twice. I got 6, looking for 7. 6, looking for 7. Going once. Going twice. Sold, young lady, sold.
And speaking of that, did everybody get the email that somebody has a part of the tree came down and has some black cherry burl that they want made into a bowl? Is anybody interested in that, in doing that? No? Okay. All right. Sorry to interrupt your excellent.
Yeah, you ruined my mulberry. 22, pear 21, pear 21, 3 for the price of 1. Who give me $3? I got $3. Who give me $4? I got 4, looking for 5. 4, looking for 5. I got 5, looking for 6. Got 6, looking for 7. 6, looking for 7. Pretty good looking stuff, guys. Looking for 7. Going once, going twice. Sold, $7. $6.
That's me.
I was looking for 7. Who got it for 6?
I did. Thanks for not noticing.
Just pay the man at the end of the auction, that's all we ask. We don't really care who buys it, we just want to sell it. Dog patch, more dogwood. Let's do in 2 for the price of 1.
What is it?
Dogwood.
It's good turning stuff.
I didn't say I was gonna start at $2. Well, I'll take your $2, I'll take your $2 and look for 4. I got 4 over here. Go ahead, give me 6, Ken. Yeah, 6. Okay, $5, cheapie.
All right, fine.
I got 5, looking for 6. I got 6, looking for 7. Don't let him have it, Ken.
No, he'll give me the scraps.
Going once, going twice. Sold.
Me.
Juniper, Eastern Cedar. Okay. And you know what, that is a pretty piece of wood there.
Hold it up so other people can see it, please.
You wanna come over here and auctioneer? You get over here, you can be my runner, you can hold the stuff up.
Okay.
Now that will turn into something awesome. Knowing you guys here, I know you'll make something awesome out of that. So we're gonna start the bidding at $2, you'll give me $2. $2, $4. $4, $6. You give me 6. Worth every bit. I got 6 looking for 7 or looking for 8. You give me 8. Go ahead and give me 7 then. Nobody gonna give me 7? Going once, going twice, sold.
Who got it? Reg?
Reggie got it.
I'll hold it up. Can you, Reg?
Yeah, now you'll hold it up.
I'll get the dog.
I wanna see what you make out of that, Reg.
Yeah.
Okay? Bring that in next month, okay? All turns up.
Did you get approval to take that home, Ray?
What am I looking at here, guys?
That's a magnolia, deciduous magnolia.
Oh.
Sure it is, I should have known that.
Just got done last week, so it's pretty green, but it cost me $1,100 to cut it down.
What?
So, if you'd like to contribute.
Is that what you're gonna start the bidding in?
But the great news is it didn't go through the house, right?
That's right.
Yeah, there you go, that was
The
cheap.
other good news is 2 people could share that. One person could take the bottom part where all the pretty green.
That's what I'm thinking, that crotch part there would look beautiful. Yeah, and then this other piece here, this would be a pretty flat bowl or, you know, nice oblong bowl. So yeah, think about it, get yourselves together, put your money together, and, you know, you could buy it in a co-op kind of
By
thing.
the way, I have a few more of those, so if you buy that, you get a couple more for that price.
Wow, that's a pretty good deal there. All right, let's start the bidding at $2. Who give me $2? Now mind you, if you buy this for $2, there's a possibility you could get more at the same price.
Oh. I'm gonna call Andy Moore on you.
Hey, looking for 3, I got the 2 right here, baby, looking for 3.
You?
Yeah, just because you're not like you have anything for $1.
$3.
I got 3 looking for 4. I got 4 looking for 5. I got... Let me see a 5.
I'm giving you 5.
Oh, you're gonna jump it up?
Yeah.
Woo! I got 5 looking for 6. 5 looking for 6.
I'll give you 6 for
I got 6 looking for 7. 6 looking for 7. I got 7 looking for 8. Now there's about a, quarter ton pickup truckload of this they can get there, right?
Yeah, I got it once. Yeah, and that's a nice hardwood. I've never turned it. I have no idea how it turns or what the grain looks
So
like.
where am I at?
7.
I got 6 looking for 7.
I'm 7.
You 7 looking for 8. Who give me 8? I'm telling you, it's almost $8 for a truckload of firewood. My God, you can't beat that, guys. That's.
I'll give you 8.
I got 8 looking for 9. Who give me 9? Going once, going twice, $9. If he wasn't paying attention, I could have got another buck out of him, okay? I've been around auctioneers enough to know that's how it works. Oh, I got a bid way back there. There ain't nobody standing behind me, auctioneer. Don't tell me there's somebody back there. What we got here, guys?
Wait a minute, who bought that?
Scott.
It's not tough getting that money.
No, this is your wood.
That's mine.
That's your wood, yeah. Well, I'm saying, what is this?
Scott, you know you have to pay that before you leave.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just saying.
Not Bitcoin either, Scott. We want cold, hard cash.
That's Norway maple.
This is maple?
Norway maple, yeah.
Old Norway maple. Looking for 2. I got 2, looking for 3. I got 3, looking for 4. Who give me 4? Who give me 4? Going once. I got 4, looking for 5. 4, looking for 5. Going once, going twice. So Reggie gets another piece. $7.82.
Let's see the bark. Who brought this in?
Jerry with 1.3.
1, 2, 3. I don't know if that was the National Forest that was stolen from, if that was the number or what it was, but
When it was sealed.
when it was sealed. Oh, it's even sealed. Whoa, that just straight through the roof. $2. Who give me $2? I got 2. Who give me 4? Got 4. Looking for 6. Got 6 back here. Looking for 8. I got 8. Looking for 10. I got 10. Looking for 12. Looking for 12. Good wood, fellas, ladies. Got 10, looking for 12. Going, going, gone.
Russell.
Is this up for auction too, or is this just sitting here?
You can sell it if you want to.
Use speed reader.
Pretty pictures, that for you guys that can't read that well, look at the pretty pictures. Huh?
That's a Richard Rappin book.
Yeah,
Turning Bowls.
Turning Bowls.
$29.99.
$29.95 is what this thing retailed for. Am I gonna make you a heck of a deal here? Here, give me $2. I got 2, looking for 4. Looking for 4, I got 4, looking for 6. I got 6, looking for 8. I got 8, looking for 10. Who give me 10? Who give me 10? I'll give you 10, Mike, okay. I got 10, looking for 12. 10, looking for, I got 12. You give me 14. Mike's not gonna do it again. You give me 14. Sold to the young man back there for $12.
And actually, I don't know if anybody knows, but Mike was actually born on property that one of those by William Penn. Just so you know. So, all right, let's do a quick show and tell. We got like 10 minutes to do a show and tell. So if you got anything, come on up here and show you. I just want to give one little quickie. Excuse me. My first sphere, my second sphere. This is redwood. It was about twice the size when I started. It ended up to be this size. Then I got a little smarter and, this chestnut came out just beautiful, I really love it, so. And the way I did it, I, put a cup on this set, on the live center, and I put, this on the drive center. I just put it between, so just wanna show you how you do it, in case anybody was interested in figuring it out. It works real nice, and try not to drop it. That's how it goes. Okay? Next.
Had the pleasure of visiting Tony and came home and wanting to build a box, but I ended up building a crate instead, so I ended up making a bowl. You're an amazing man. If I knew what you forgot, I'd be a master wood turner.
That's what I got.
So, and I had a curly maple burl.
Next, who's up?
Very good.
Who's up?
Okay.
Anybody? Oh, there you go.
I go. I bought 2 pieces of wood at the last auction, or 3 pieces. One was sold to me as cherry, and then peach, and finally beech. I'm pretty sure it's beech. It was green. There were ovals. It was a fun. Green wood is fun to turn if you haven't done it. The challenge was it was actually cracking and warping while I was on the lathe with it. So I'm not exactly sure if anybody's an expert on one-time turning green wood. I don't want to deal with storing for 3 months to dry. Let me know how to do that. The other one was a little 5-inch by 7-inch piece of spalted maple. And so I made this little bowl out of the center of it, and I wanted to use the cutoffs and just see what all I could make. And I ended up making 4 little Christmas trees and this ring holder. So you can squeeze a lot of stuff out of a little piece of wood here if you want. And then this was a small piece of ash. And this was my second attempt at a square bowl. And it's not terrible. It's 1,000 times better than my first attempt.
Contemporary art, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's it.
Very nice. That was just
Go ahead.
in the head, so I'm not sure. First one, ash. I started out with about 3-4 inches.
Would you put in one of the inserts in there? There's kind of neat inserts you put in.
But they're not straight. Because my eye must be crooked. But anyways, it's epoxy or filler.
Nice.
And then I made a little platform.
Beautiful.
I was surprised how everybody brought in
Second one,
stuff like that for display.
I think it's close to 3.
Yeah.
That was clean.
This will be made out of a log.
Okay.
It's ash. Then the bottom's ash for a holder.
So baseballs are what, 2.9 inches in diameter, plus or minus 2, I think.
1, oh yeah. I made up the time.
Very good.
Where was the drumstick?
Well, there we go.
Let's see here. I did a couple little doodads from that crab apple I was telling you about, fell down near my house, I think November I was telling you about that. So just, you know, a couple nice little vessels of some sort. You don't want to make a bowl for there.
Very nice.
Thank you.
This was my second attempt at a sphere. I got as far as I got and ran out of nerve and just stopped there. The first one was down the size of a golf ball, and it was still way far off.
Man, I'm not the only one that did that.
So I just installed a maple. That was the third attempt. It didn't turn out too much better than the first one.
How big were they when you started?
Just a little bit larger. I really didn't lose too much.
What'd you find as a trick?
The 3-axis method, I had it set between 2 jam chucks, and just kept turning it.
Nice.
And just a little bit of fun with a bunch of different shapes for the ones.
Nice.
That's it.
I'll jump up and do mine. My first ball started out bigger than a softball. That's where it ended up, and it still has a lot of curve and stuff. And I tried a second one. This is Spalding Maple. I also did a wand, and I put that special coloring in there. There's a red tip on the end, so that you can.
Whoa.
Magic.
There's another little box out of Spalding Maple too. And this is a bowl of ambrosia maple that I got from Jim Garth. That's it. Very nice.
I'll just quickly show you. I've been making spheres for a while, and I've given a few away. My sisters get bowls with spheres in them when I can't give them anything. And the bowl is a burl that buried it.
Great. So my wife said we don't make any more spheres, what are we gonna do with it?
Yeah.
Anybody have any ideas? Yeah, sounds like Christmas gifts.
Yeah. Made these from a locust branch. Try to get that like eyeball thing. The small one was my first one. This is the second one I did. It's probably the biggest size I could have made from that branch. And that was the third one. And did this little, I don't know, urn or whatever. I brought this is one I did a while ago, a couple years ago, and I just wanted to compare. This is from the same piece of wood. This is like different finish. This is a water-based poly, and this is
that maple?
oil finish. This is elm.
Elm? Pretty white for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I did this little tool handle, and that's walnut.
So you sell them now?
Inside of the tool?
Sell it out, yeah.
No.
So, I have a question. For any of you that turn spheres, did any of you have the commercial holders to put on your lathe, or did you all make your own holders?
Made mine.
Cool.
How about you?
I used to, made my own.
Hey, $1 to start the bid, who in the heck was gonna buy anything other than that? Come on. This crowd, ain't no way they're gonna pay for that.
I have a couple things. This is a sphere basically, and it has a stand that sits in. The original idea was to have it be really light. You know, you see some of these translucent almost vessels. I chickened out. But the method I used, working from a nice drawing that generated with some software, and then I'll cut templates. So that basically I have an outside curve that I'm matching to that. Then when I'm working on the inside, I have this one. So I'm constantly checking to see that I get the same, basically I'm shooting for this, is what I was trying to do. And so the idea initially was to have this be really light, and then I wanted a really heavy base. And the base is made a little heavier by drilling holes in the bottom and filling it with pennies to give it just a little more weight to it. Here's my attempt at a ball. This started at 4 inches, about, and it's as a cylinder. Like my cups, I'm interested that these are so small. I had a cup that was probably 2 inches in diameter, at least for the drive end, and a slightly smaller one on the live end. But I think my mistake was in doing the cylinder, I didn't get this curve well enough. I kind of have an elongated sphere. So then when I turned it and put it in the cup, it didn't fit very well. Right. So then it's wobbling like crazy and it caught and tore. So I had to back up. And then I'd been removed from the centers basically. So then I had to put a drive center in one end and then just make the whole ball smaller. And then I was just using a template again. I made a cardboard circle to get it right the first time. And so it came out better, but it's certainly, you wouldn't want to bowl with this. And then the last piece is just something real recent, cherry. Nice piece of wood. I got it fairly light. I like the weight of it pretty well. But it also had a slight crack right at the rim. And I filled it, and it wouldn't have broken, but it just, I couldn't make it look like anything but a flaw, right? So then I decided to just make it so now it looks like an aesthetic decision and not faulty materials.
So how did you make the curves at the top?
Basically, it's on the lathe, and I'm just drawing with a pencil, and then I just took a saw and cut the curve down, and then I hit it with a sander at the end. And then I made a wand as well. I haven't done much spindle work, so that's really good practice. This is a little rough, but trying to learn to use the skew on a spindle this is a good exercise. Very good.
Go ahead. I brings it a little. Well, since we were selling all the Osage orange, I made some Osage orange. So these are two things I just made yesterday. This is nice. You should just come up just to see. This is it isn't really finished. There's no sanding on it. This is one of those. What do they call those tools?
Carbide.
No, with the.
A skew?
Easy scraper.
No, with the down.
Negative rake scraper.
Woke out.
No,
negative rake.
Negative rake. Sorry. Negative rake.
3 words.
So here's some more Osage orange.
Where's your spear?
Oh, okay, so here's a piece of firewood, a locust from down the street in Bollesburg, and all these nice locust borer holes. You know the locust borer that's on the milkweed on the golden rod. And then this is my very first sphere. I actually hate making spheres, but this was made on New Year's Day in 1997.
Wow.
That's a long time ago.
Nice.
Wow. I've lately been more, I hate making spheres, but lately I've been more interested in making the stands for the spheres. So here's the stand. This is, these are 2 wine bottles. So okay, I'm not supposed to talk about glass. So there's, this is oak with a walnut center. And here is, I don't know what this is, cherry maybe? This is Masaranduba from my last Brazil trip.
That's what you brought in last time, right? The wood, the chunk of wood.
Yeah, the chunk of wood, yeah. Okay, I think that's it.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Cool.
This is a oak root. Both of these bowls are pretty heavy, but I like the leave these indentations in there. I was afraid I was going to bust through. And this is a cherry burl, and I wanted to keep this overhang like this. So again, I was afraid I was going to bust through because I wanted to keep that on there. I like it. And then I made some. This is river birch, dead river birch I had on my property, and this was some dead maple wood that I had. So that's pretty much it. I bought these in just to make sure everybody else's boxes really look great. So with Tony being here tonight, I'm kind of ashamed to show those.
Who else? Anybody else have anything?
Not today.
Not today? Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon. Go ahead. I'll wait.
I'll show you my screen a minute. First time I've turned spalted maple, put a little bowl in that. First time I've tried hollowing. This is just a practice piece of chestnut.
Nice.
And tried to make a jig. I bought some Jordan tools, so this will clamp on the lathe and help stabilize when you're doing that. So why pay $300 for one when you can make them for $400? So. And this is my first attempt at a sphere. It looks more like a pumpkin. Still got to get the hang of that. It's tougher than I thought it was going to be. But my second ball was really good. Made out of rubber wood. The hardest part was getting the colors right.
Putting those lines on there, right?
Right.
Did we pick the right vice president?
So I'm fairly new yet at turning. I did make a cherry burl bowl out of something that looked like that. It was a little thinner. Didn't turn out too bad. I think I had 2 of those. And over Christmas, I got crazy on my lathe and decided I wanted to make a Christmas tree and put a cross on top.
Sweet, nice.
That's a spalted maple I got from my buddy's firewood pile. Then I decided I wanted to try making a jar. So I made a little jar. I made several of them. My hardest part is trying to get the grain to match.
Gotta cut it out of the same piece of wood.
Yeah, that's a start.
Mention that.
And I decided, my wife's an avid quilter, so I tried making a couple of little needle boxes.
Oh, cool.
And they're fairly easy to make once you figure it out. You can turn these out in about a half hour. I joined the club here last year and made back 2 or 3 meetings. I've worked with wood all my life off on the side, but I had an old Grizzly lathe and I got tired of fighting with it and fixing it every time I worked on it, so I bit the bullet and bought a Laguna last year. And I like it. Works good. I have Grizzly.
All right, anybody have anything else? There's plenty more snacks up here. Well, one less. Don't be afraid to have them. So, without further ado, the reason we're all here. Go ahead, Tony, take it away.
Okay. The entire program is going to be on the screen, so if you can't see the screen, you're going to miss it.
Shuffle around if you want.
So you'll have to share your
There, you wanna open up what you need there?
Okay.
And you gotta open it up before you share.
That's not sharing?
Nice.
Can we make that any bigger?
Yeah, you should be able to get each thing should be on full screen.
Okay. Good.
There you go.
That helps.
All right.
Okay, tonight's program is on segmented turnings, and there are many different methods that can be used to create a segmented turning. My approach is to design a pattern and then build a solid block incorporating various geometric shapes. A whole series of forms can be generated from one single pattern simply by changing the shape of the block. I've got 3 different styles to look at tonight, and they're all from fairly simple patterns. In the design phase, I start with a square, and a 3.5-inch square accommodates just about everything I've made to this point. Then I consider it as 3 individual segments. A common feature to the blocks will be a central post. It can be square, it can be rectangular, it can be a triangle, and can be of any dimension. Eventually, a pattern is developed, and most of these blocks are built in 3 segments. For this type of a block, first I'll run these laminated sections and then mill the ends. Those 3 pieces will be joined. Do the same with the center and the other end. And then I'll come in and everything needs to be dead flat. Come in and flatten both the surfaces, then these 3 sections are glued together. Now we get into a little more complicated pattern here by introducing some triangles.
Do you make them planar flat, or do you make them hand plane flat? How do you do it?
Any way I can do it. A lot of this may be run through a drum sander, can be run on a disc sander, can be run on a belt sander. There are a number of different ways to go at it. On a block that incorporates triangles, I'll start from the center. I've actually got a square, but it's oriented like a diamond. I'll run the triangles and I'll attach them in pairs. First I'll do the top, and then I'll glue the 2 onto the bottom. Then this is going to be resurfaced. The top is going to be flattened, the side, the bottom, and the other side. The side pieces here are built as a single component, and then all 3 of these are joined. The bottom is done the same as the top, and then these 3 segments are flattened and joined. This is a detailed pattern here. It's done on graph paper. It shows it's done to full scale. I'm listing the species of wood that's going to be used. I'm noting the outer circumference of the cylinder that will be turned. And I'm also showing the circumference for the center. That'll be hollowed out. That's done with Forstner bits. The cut list is drawn up with the different species, the number of pieces, and the dimensions. Just a few simple tools to create the design. I'm working on graph paper. I've got a short roll with finely graded. A set of calipers comes in real handy. Some shapes, number 2 pencil, and this roll is invaluable. It's clear, and it's done in English and in metric, and the way it's designed, there are a number of different reference points on here that can be used to align the roll on the block to start setting some lines. An eraser. I make a lot of mistakes. I need a big eraser. So the roll's set to the square. I start drawing a bunch of lines. The pattern begins to develop. And eventually we come to a finished design.
Now, at this point, do you know what it's going to look like when you turn it?
I've got a
pretty good idea.
I've got a good idea. I've made a number of these as to what to expect. But depending upon the final shape that it's taken to, it can look very different. I could show you 2 or 3 different forms And you might find it hard to believe that they were all done from the same guy. So, you know, I can only see so far into it. And a lot of it's just, this worked, so let me try that.
Do you have a layout of the two-dimensional that matches any of those there? You can show us?
Well, I'll show the patterns for all of these. We're going to go through each one of these individually. So now it's time to introduce the compass. And I'll define the circumference, outer circumference of the cylinder that will be turned. I've got the center marked for hollowing. And early on, I want dead center of the block identified. A lot of these lines are set based off the center point. The pattern's then given a number. Then I scan it. I want to be able to save it. So I have a digital image, and then I'm going to copy it. Then from there, I'll have a diagram, a pattern on a clean white sheet of paper. I'll have one, the original, on the graph paper. Then I'll have a third sheet with all the additional information for it. So I'll have 3 sheets for each individual pattern. When the piece is completed, I'll photograph it, and I'll have the number for the pattern in the picture. That way, if I want to recreate something, I can identify the pattern real quick. Some of these patterns are so similar that trying to figure out which pattern was used for what piece can take some time.
Does everybody keep a notebook of what they do? Does anybody do it? It's a good idea, especially for beginners. As you go along, label your pieces, put your name on it, put the date on it, and start a notebook and put down some notes on it. It'll be helpful in the future for you. So, sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
That's what I have a wood burner for. Wood burner to chuck those pieces that I screwed up into. Exactly.
Okay, material selection. I'm looking for contrasting colors. I'm looking for good, solid material. I'm looking for uniformity of color. And depending upon the design, a lot of figure can play into it too. The milling starts at the joiner. I'm going to go ahead and joint one edge. I'm going to go ahead and joint one face. I'm going to move to the planer. I'm going to plane the alternate face. Then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to run it through the planer again. I'm going to get a better finish than I did off the joiner. Then from there, this stock here is going to be run as thin plies. I like to set the thickness with a digital caliper, with a digital calipers. I'm going to rough cut the width of the thick stock on the table saw. Then when I start to cut the individual thin plies, I've made enough of these that I've got a lot of stock that's been run previously. And if I have some of the stock that I'm looking for laying around, I'll just go ahead and use that to set the thickness at the bandsaw. I've got both faces on this stock nicely flattened. I'm going to shoot that through twice. I'm going to cut 2 plies, and then I'm going to take the primary stock and I'm going to run that back through a drum sander to better finish the face for a better cut. If I just keep running that through, there's going to be a little bit of deterioration with each cut, which would be compounded each time. So I want to go ahead and reestablish a good face with minimal stock removal, and that's done on the drum sander.
Are you using the ply out of the bandsaw, the thin ply? Is that clean enough for you to just use, or do you run that through a sander before putting that in the stack?
The cut from the bandsaw is good enough, especially if it's run. The cut from the bandsaw is good enough. So now I'm gonna run the material, the walnut for the dark plies. Start at the joiner, run the edge, run the face, back to the planer, run the opposite face. The walnut stock is thick enough to safely run on the table saw. This is a stack of thin plies of the ash. It would be too dangerous to run that on the table saw with a rip blade. So that will be moved to a small band saw for safety purposes. I'm going to start rough cutting the central post on the bandsaw. I want a square, so I cut one face, flip it, cut the second face. Now I've got the square. I do a lot of marking. This is going to be the central post. I'm going to mark the waist end, the primary portion of the block. I'm going to mark the area that I'll need to part with, and then this is going to extend out, and this section of the post is going to be able to be locked right into a chuck. It's important to orient the location of the pieces. There could be some minor flaws which may not matter on the chuck end. It's too easy to get things mixed up. So I do a lot of marking. So on the compound miter, I'll come in and knock the waist block off. I've got that clamped on so I can make a safe, accurate cut. These are the sections of the plies all laid out. We're looking straight down on the individual pieces here and looking down on the flat face there. To keep, once the glue's added, glue's a lubricant, and it's slip slide, everything's going everywhere. So to try and control that, one method is to take and tape the entire stack together. Then I'm going to mark a point to drill on both ends of the plies, and I'm going to insert a dowel into that after the glue's been applied. So here at the bandsaw, I'm cutting the dowel to length. Here the stacks are, the holes are drilled, the dowels are sized.
You just put a dowel in one spot?
No, two on both ends.
Yeah, okay.
I'll have a hole on the lower corner on this end, and then a hole on the upper corner on the opposite side. Dry fits with everything. I like to work off plexiglass. The wood isn't going to adhere to it. It's a nice flat surface, and it can be cleaned easily with a card scraper or a razor blade. For the dry fit, I'm working off the plywood, off the plexiglass, on an overhang from the tabletop. I'm going to have L channel in the back of it, so I can, even though I've got those dowels in there, there still can be some movement. So it's good to have a flat vertical surface to force everything up against. I've got all the clamps opened up to the working distance. Just another view of that. And then I set up for the glue up. Frequently I'll lay some wax paper down. There's going to be a lot of glue bleed out, and it's just less time spent cleaning the plexiglass up. I've got the stack laid out in the sequence that it needs to be glued up in. Clamps are all set to the right distance. For adhesives, I use Titebond, either Titebond 2 or Titebond Original. This is the glue bottle. I really like it, it works well. This is called the Silly Brush. I love my Silly Brush. It's got a scraper on one end and thick, pliable, flexible bristles on the business end of it. A small roller comes into play. I've got the plies all laid out in the order that I want to glue them up in. So I apply glue to both surfaces. It's spread out and flattened. And they're joined individually as I run through the stack. And then these pieces are worked side to side and then top to bottom to get a good spread of the glue. And now it's into the actual glue up. Everything's in clamps. I'm getting a lot of bleed out of the glue here. I want to clean as much of that up as possible. I'll come in with cloth or paper towel. Thin vinyl label works nice as a scraper.
You find they slide a little bit on you?
If the dowels are in there, it's really going to help it. You do still have to keep an eye on it. I've got it up against an L channel here in the back, and I'm looking at the edge to make sure that it looks vertical. The majority of the glue bleed out is cleaned up there, but not well enough. It's going to have to go back to the joiner. And here I'm going to clean up one face. I'm just going to take the minimal amount off to do that. That's the first edge that's cleared. Now I'm going to go back to the table saw and I'm going to finish dimension the center block. It's a square, so I'll run it through twice.
Tony, does that glue sort of gum up the blade of the joiner at all?
Yes.
But not in a concerning way?
No,
It's not wetted,
it's not excessive. Where am I at? Oh, the block, the center post has been dimensioned, and now, while I'm still at the same settings, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to run the stack of the plies through. The first edge was cleared up on the joiner. This will dimension it and clean up the opposite face.
Do you find that stacks, what's like a minimum dimension that you should use?
The thinner the pieces, the better effect. They just show better.
Okay.
And if you're looking at 1/8 of an inch straight on, it's 1/8 of an inch. But when that's put into a block and that's cut to a 45 or shaped to a 45, all of a sudden that 1/8 inch turns into a 1/4 inch.
Yeah.
So you want to start as thin as you possibly can. So here I'm just making sure that everything is to the quality that I'm looking for. All the surfaces are clean. Everything's going to mate very nicely. And I go to the compound miter to cut the stacks in half. My clamp won't reach the length. It's not long enough. So I'll find another piece of material that's the same thickness as the one I want to cut. I'll just lay a scrap block on top of it, put pressure down on that, and that's going to lock that in real well. It's not going anywhere. So I come in, lots of dry fits. I dry fit the sides to the block. So I've got my clamp set. Then I'll come in with the glue. The sides are going to be glued up in pairs. The first pair of sides are being glued here. I need to do some cleanup, remove as much of the bleed out as possible. And then that's got to be cleaned up. So I'm going to go to a belt sander. Now, one of the downsides to using the belt sander is that just by the nature of it, it's going to tend to produce a convex shape. The center of the block is going to be just a little more proud than the sides. And a way to deal with that, after you've removed what you need to remove, you slide it off slowly, and as the center of the block is passing the edge of the belt, you just ride a little bit slower, and you remove that little bit of a crown that's on it. From there, I'm going to check to make sure that it is flat. The surfaces have to be flat. Now I'm going to do the second pair of the sides. All the glue's there, clamps ready to go. Rubber bands are a great assist to hold the sides in place until the clamps can be engaged. Here it is looking down on it. Got the central block with the 4 sides attached. Now I'm going to run the corners. They're going to be run on the table saw. I've got 2 lengths. They'll be cut in half for the 4 corners. That's done on the compound miter saw. Come back now. When I cleaned up, I removed as much glue as I could. But there's still a little bit that's left in there. So I'll come in with a detail scraper and remove the smallest amount possible. But that's still going to leave me with a bit of a void in here. And I've got a shim in there to show that that fit's just not good enough. So by whatever means necessary, hand planes, scraping, sanding, that block will be fitted, the corner will be fitted to the block, and it will be marked in the orientation that needs to be set to be glued. Each individual corner is custom fitted and marked for the orientation to glue it. Set up for a dry fit. Everything's oriented the way I want it. Come in with the glue. I'm applying it to both surfaces. Now, rubber bands doubled over or taut enough, these pieces are really well fit. And the rubber band's enough pressure at this point to pull them in. Now I want to knock the top of the block off. I'll do that on the bandsaw. And now I've got to mark the center. Depending upon the pattern of the block, it may be easy to set the lines right from the very center of it. If not, then I'm going to have to run to the outside corner, and it's going to be a little less accurate. With all the design work that's here, it's really critical to be working off dead center. On some blocks, a glue block for the chuck mounting is added, and it may not be real easy to readily find the center on that. Simply by putting it on a flat surface up against a perpendicular surface, continually rotating the block, inscribing a line from 45, you eventually get dead center of the piece that was added. Dead center's punched in. That's moved to a cradle on the bandsaw. I'm going to run all 4 corners off. I size the block, position the circumference to the blade by adding or removing various thickness of shims in the base of the cradle. And I'll take all 4 corners off. That leaves me with an octagon. This was designed so that I have overhang and I can mount that directly into a chuck with pin jaws. I'll use the tailstock to help level the block in the lathe. Once I've got that oriented, then I'll come in and crank down with the pin jaws to secure the block. I'm going to go ahead and remove the tailstock. I'm going to mark the circumference for the hollowing. I'm going to re-engage the tailstock, and I'm going to start to spin it. The lathe off and on and off and on. I'm looking to make sure that I don't have any surprise voids in here. Even with all that setup work, on occasion it's just not right. I'll begin to mark the cylinder for shaping purposes. I'll begin the shaping process. Take it down closer. Once again, I'm constantly evaluating the fit of all the pieces. Eventually, I get to a final shape that's good enough for some sanding. I do the hollowing initially with a Forstner bit. I'm going to mark the shaft of the bit with tape so that I know just how far in I need to plunge. Minwax is pretty much my preferred finish. I'll use either the warm semi-gloss or the clear gloss. I'll use forceps and a cloth to swab the inside of the piece after it's been cleaned up a little bit with a scraper. I'll apply multiple coats to the outside. Initially, I started with using the Colt Maxi Bit Forstner bits. What I liked about them is that the part of the bit that's set into the Morse taper is somewhat oval shaped. So once that locks in initially, that's not going to spin. It's not going to turn on you. The bits weren't cheap, and I've not been real pleased with how quickly they wear. They're not going to go the distance I was hoping for. So there's a lot of sharpening, and the bits are constantly being reduced. There's a lot of different colors here, and there's a lot of dust that's going to be produced. And here I've got some ash. It's real open grain. A lot of that dust is going to get in and muddy the other colors. A clean tack cloth does a pretty darn good job with removing a lot of that dust. That's the end of the first form.
So start sending it, it takes you like, what, 45 minutes, something like that?
40.
Yeah. Well, you've done it enough time now.
It can take, depending upon the complexity of the block and the number of glue-ups, it can take up to 3 days to build a block. In some of these forms, I estimated, it was nuts, it was close to 600 clamp settings to create the block. These are all simple forms.
And you'd sell that for like $15. At least that's what
20.
That's what somebody would want to pay for. That's the weird thing. You realize how much time is in this stuff.
Yep, you could make tens of dollars.
Do you use any sanding sealer at all before you start?
I use the Minwax as the sealer. I've used some clear sealers, and it tends to just muddy the colors. The Minwax clear doesn't. Where am I at here?
Is that oil-based Minwax?
Yes. I think this is the one I want. No, it's not. Yeah, this is the one I want. Okay, this form here I'm referring to as the barrel vessel. Just reminds me of a barrel. That's the final form that I'm going for. I like the cove and the design here and the thin piece of ash that's set into there. And I like the maple ovals on 4 sides of it. So once again, I've got a very detailed drawing, but it's a very simple build. There's a vertical central core to it. This is looking down on it, and then there's a perimeter of maple that's going to be added to that. I've identified the circumference for the hollowing. I've got a detail of the shape, where I want the cove. Reminder that it's going to have the maple ovals on it. I've got the lid detailed, the shape of the finial detailed. And here are all the pieces that have been milled. I've got the central stack, I've got the maple sides, and we can disregard these mahogany plies for right now. So that's how it's laid out. There's a simple central stack, and then it's going to have 4 maple pieces attached to the sides. Components are built individually. You can't get away with just trying to do everything all at once. It's just not going to work. The top and the bottom are done as individual builds. Then that's put into clamps, clamp side to side, top to bottom. Even the glue block was done as a build. I'm just using junk wood. I just need something that I can get into a chuck. I don't want to be using good material for that. So the central core is glued. Just another view of that. Then the glue block is added to the central core. Now I've got to clean up all that bleed out. The shave hook works well for bulk removal. From there I'm back to the belt sander. And probably not going to get it flat enough there. I'm going to go to the disc sander. And if that didn't do well enough, I'm going to go back to the bandsaw and I'm going to take more material off. On this type of form, that's okay. I'm going to mark dead center for the top, dead center for the bottom. These are the plies. They're marked. I have a finely finished side, and then another side's got some minor flaws in it. I want to make sure that the side with the flaws is on the outside of the block. So the first pair of sides are glued on. The second pair of sides are glued on. Rubber bands are good enough to attach the glue block for the chuck. Circumference is defined. Back to the cradle and the bandsaw to knock off the corners. Got the octagon mounted in the lathe in a spur drive in the tailstock to orient it. come in, turn the cylinder, establish the dovetail for the chuck, move that into the chuck. Going to use the tailstock to align it. The shaping is done. The hollowing is done. Inside swab, the outside has got several coats on it. Now it's time to do the lid. I'm into using the minimal amount of stock required, just to stretch the wood stock. I'll set the center and establish the circumference. I'll go to a small bandsaw and rough out the circumference. I'll drill a 5/16 inch hole in the center, and I'm going to use a bolt to mount that to a mandrel. The mandrel I'm using is designed for the Beal buffing system. The lid is mounted to the mandrel. I'm going to turn the bottom of the lid first. That way I can bring the turned piece and actually dry fit without using some calipers. And I can go ahead and establish that as tight or as loose as I want. After that's done, I'll just pop the screw, flip the lid. Now I can finish the top side of it. A shop-made mandrel. Took a maple dowel and a threaded brass insert. Set the insert into the dowel. Now this doesn't have a Morse taper, so that's going to have to be set into a chuck with pin jaws. To align that well, I'll engage the tailstock into the brass insert, and that's going to set it real well. For different thickness of lids or bases, I just use different lengths of bolts. The finial will be done using a chuck with pin jaws. I use the tailstock to orient the piece in the chuck before I really lock it down. There it is aligned, and there it is finished. The finial is added to the lid, and I'm done with the piece.
Now that was 40 bits.
Now, a variation of that, I think this is it. No, it's the one I already did. These other folders are short. By mistake, I wound up adding a ring into the maple ovals. What I had done, when I was cutting the corners off, I cut way too far into the block. It's the same build as for the first piece. It's just cutting further into the block and adding a veneer. Cutting the corners. These are the sections that will be cut off. The veneer will be added in there. You can get the first 3 spins in the cradle. The 4th one's not going to go. So I move back to the fence on the bandsaw. The plies glued to the cutoff, and then our whole assembly is glued back to the block. And that's it for that. Then real quick and real short, the last piece. Nope. I'm working with trifocals. It's hard to find things. Done one more? Okay. Doesn't want to open. Okay, good. Okay, this was the original design. I ran it a second time, changed it out a little bit. The base was rounded instead of running with straight lines. Changed the wood out. Did some changes to the lids. Those pieces from a different angle. That's the build. Real simple, very few pieces. Clamping the top and the bottom. I don't want to add thin plies to the outside of the build. There's a tendency for that to swell and become convex, and then that's going to have to be flattened. So I do the thicker pieces first, then I come back, I build the center of it, and then the thin plies are added to the block in the top and the bottom. That's the finished block. That's the finished piece. I like to leave the piece on the block. It gives it time to harden, and if it frees the lathe up, I can go ahead and do other work. And then I can assess that, and whether or not I'm pleased with it, I can go back and perhaps do some more whatever to get it up to expectations. That's the same piece, just another view, and that's a wrap.
So that one's less pieces, and that's 120.
That's very interesting. So does anybody have any questions for Tony?
You just do
The initial with the Forster, then depending upon the piece, I can come in with a scrape or some of the easy wood style tools and do some true hollow.
Very good. So the challenge for next month will be to build your own version of what you just saw here from Tony. Okay? So everybody got that? You already did. You already did? I don't know.
Take my dongle back, I just remove that.
Mike Lebo is taking it. Okay, if you want to be. Yes, sir. Hey, Mike, we got another membership. Thank you, Travis. Good job. So what was it was just in the software, or was it just the way you hooked it up?
I brought another camera, but too much going on tonight.
No, you didn't.
It does work.
Cool.
That's
That's neat. Man, that's incredible. I'm gonna try one.
Unfortunately, I don't have